Well, good morning, beautiful people. Happy. Oh, wow, this is going well. Hope you're having a great Friday. I put a poll up in several of our groups this week, and people wanted to know more about automation. And in regards to automation, they wanted to know more about quote follow up or customer follow up or however you want to kind of couch that. So I thought maybe what I would do is I would just do a quick little live stream about it and kind of walk you through a few things and kind of give you some examples, and hopefully people will tune in and we'll chat about it. Otherwise, you can get in the comments of this video once it's finished and ask questions and stuff like that. So to just kind of start out, one of the biggest issues that I hear from my clients, as well as just insurance agents in general, is that they are doing quotes part of the time, but then they're spending the rest of their time like trying to do the follow-up. And what I mean by trying to do the follow-up is like they're calling and then they're not getting a phone call back, or they're calling and leaving a message, or they're sending emails and no one's responding, and then they have to get out their cell phone and they have to get out their cell phone and they have to text, and it's just a burdensome process of hours and hours spent following up, and you're not getting anything from it. And I'm not trying to say that follow-up isn't necessary. Absolutely 110% is. But there are ways you can do follow-up and still be able to sell insurance or sell whatever. It doesn't even have to be insurance. And so that big part of that comes into automation. And that's where you're still sending out emails and text messages and phone calls and smoke signals. You're still doing that stuff, but instead of you having to sit down at the keyboard and type it all out and send, and you just spent 8 hours doing follow-ups and you haven't sold anything, and you spent 8 hours following up and didn't get any new leads today, well, you can have a computer do it for you. I mean, let's just be real about it. It's a robot, it's a computer, and it does the work for you. And you set all the text messages and the emails and the phone calls up ahead of time, and then you send that information out. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. I'm going to try to turn the comments on in case people have some kind of very important thing they want to comment, if I can figure out how to do it. And let's see. That's not right. Let's try this. That's definitely not right. I have no idea. I don't know. This software's new. I'm just learning. So I have another chat window out here. I can, if you got a question, fire it at me. But otherwise, I'm just going to kind of burn into this and we'll just kind of talk about it. So the way I have created a lot of systems is based on trying to get people to make a decision, trying to get people to commit to something. Whether it's commit to saying, go to hell, then great. Whether it's to commit to say, oh my God, I can't believe I don't have this, please take my money. Or whether it's to just get people to just freaking respond. Just say something. Like, I'm still breathing, or yes, I received your quote, it was horrible, anything. Because I feel like a lot of insurance agents waste a lot of time hoping that something is going to work, and hoping isn't a sales strategy. Hoping is just hoping. And so at least if you know that people aren't going to respond, or if you know they don't want to buy it, well, then you can put them in the quoted not sold category and move on. And you can come back to them in 6 months or a year and try again. And then you can move on to selling to the next person, because you might find 5 other people who want to buy your product, and because you spent all your time following up, you don't get to them. So what I've done is I have a system that I've created, and for those of you who don't know, I primarily use ActiveCampaign. That is my chosen CRM/automation platform of choice. There are lots of others out there. I've tried all of them, used all of them. I like ActiveCampaign. It's the best combination of simplicity and price and functionality. There are some that are way more expensive. There are some that are way cheaper. There are some that have way more functionality. There are some that have way less. There are some that have more integrations or less integrations. And none of them are bad. None of them are terrible. Well, there's a couple that are terrible, but we're just not going to talk about those. But they're all great. It's just a matter of my clients and people I work with, they don't have time to sit around and spend 2 or 3 or 4 months just figuring out how to use the software. Not even building anything, just learning how it works. And so that's why I use ActiveCampaign, because you can get off the ground pretty quickly, and for the most part, you can you can get things out to your clients straight away without so much fuss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully. Ooh, I did it. Fancy. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here. And what I'm going to do is this is a basic setup. Now this one is kind of generic. This is a template that I have and if I look over that way, I'm looking at the other screen. So don't think I'm ignoring you. This is a template that I've set up that I've used with a lot of my clients. But here is kind of what it works. So this is a 4-step process there, and this is all dependent upon using the product Neoteric Agent. And if you aren't familiar with it, go to neotericagent.com, or you can find Grant Botma on Facebook or Instagram for that matter. He's the creator. Love the product. Think it's really helpful, especially for insurance agents who are just trying to get shit done. So here is this is a basic kind of 4-phase setup. You've got the first phase here, which is essentially all that is just a reminder. You send out a quote to a client, and then this whole automation's sole purpose is just to make sure that person actually opens the quote. That's it. Simple, straightforward. So we've got phase 1, which is after the client has opened the quote, like clicked the button and opened it. Then we've got this process. And what it does is it creates a deal category. Deals are just something that allows you to track your sales. Sends the little grayish bars are emails, and then the little pinkish ones are webhooks, which then correspond to text messages. So you got one email, one text message, a second text message, a second email, and then you've got sales tracking automation that does all of the sales tracking for you. So this is over the course of about 36 hours or so, basically getting people to make sure they have opened it, ask them if they have questions, and then start pushing them to make some kind of decision. Again, whether it's, I want to buy this, I'm not sure, or go to hell. At this point, you just want them to do something so you can know whether or not you need to move on. So that's step 1. Step 2 is just another version of that same thing. Oh no. You're getting to see behind the curtain here, how the sausage is made, as it were. And then this is step 2, which is the same kind of deal. Again, it's just more, oh, well, I didn't know that was going to happen. Ooh, awkward. So anyway, step 2 is the same kind of deal. It's just text messages, emails, and phone calls, notices for phone calls that are trying to get your customer to make some kind of decision. And so one of the things that I also am a firm believer in is being able to track your sales. So I have this thing called setup. It's called the deal stages. And what it does is because of those automations, it automatically drops clients into these particular categories based on what's going on. So, okay, these are the people that need a phone call. So you know everyone that's in this list, you need to call them. If they don't answer, left a message. Simple enough. And then once you move them, the system knows what to do. Need a second phone call. Okay, left a second message. Pretty straightforward. There's also a category here of, okay, well, we talked to somebody, but they're still trying to make a decision. Okay, fine. Here's a category for, they agreed, you talked to them, but the quote needs to be changed, corrected. They didn't like the deductibles, whatever. Put them in this category. Or the ultimate goal, hey, they agreed to buy it. But as we all know, as insurance agents, they don't often need to buy it at that moment. They may need to wait 15 days, 30 days, till they get paid, till the other policy runs out, to whatever. So this is just kind of a holding bin. So once you have done all of that, then you can go on about business, selling more policies, and then when you get ready, you can actually click on here and you can say 1. And what will happen then is that will push them into a secondary category, which is what's called the customer onboarding phase, which is the phase of the process that allows them to figure out how to be a customer of your agency. And that's a conversation that we can have kind of at another time. It's a little bit more complicated than that. But all of that to say, that's kind of how quote follow-up works on a basic scale. So one of the things that I would really be interested to know from you, fair people of Facebook land, am I allowed to say Facebook on a Facebook Live? I feel like you probably can, right? Anyhow. So I think the thing I really want to know from you is like, what kind of questions do you have about quote follow up and customer follow up? Like, are there things that you want to know? Are there things that you are struggling with that you don't know how to fix, or things that you want to do but aren't sure what the next step is in the process, or don't know how to get started, or don't know what to say, or don't know how to create the content, or whatever. I guess I probably should have done a better job up front of looking to see what automation build outs are in here, because I don't want to open any of the emails because it may have some of my clients' information and I don't want to expose that to the world without getting their approval first. So, live and learn, right? Minimum viable product. You just get it going and you figure out the answers later. So the reality is I probably should have done that research ahead of time. Live and learn. So anyway, that's my question to you. What questions do you have? What things do you want to know? What things are you struggling with? Is there something that I can help you do? Also, I think the next step in this process is probably to talk about customer follow-up if I don't need to do a secondary quote follow-up live stream to talk about something else. So send me a direct message if you have problems that you don't necessarily want the rest of the group to know about. Otherwise, post them in the comments below. Hope you have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and adios, muchachos.